Previously on Balls.
Next, we're going to get hold of Brandon from topodds.com, www.topodds.com. Anyone listening with their computer handy should really go to www.topodds.com. Scroll down the green menu on the left and have a look at football. Leon Petzer has Thumper Pigeon. He is at Thumper Pigeon on Twitter. Has been talking quite a lot about using players from other countries, stripping the talent of the French and the Germans. The German side that came out here for the World Cup was massively populated by the two Polish lads up front, Klose and Podolski. And they became German internationals, even though they were of Polish descent, born in Poland. Mario Gomez, Brazilian. Mesut Ozil, born in Germany but with Turkish parents. The lad that's now at Arsenal and making the earth shake. But listen, Thumper Pigeon, Leon Petzer, good interaction on the rugby problems as well. Retweets from Mandisa Kamala on what the Mole was saying as well, just saying that the Mole's right. Chepo Seshoka saying that the Mole's right as well. Robert, he's got a very complicated Twitter handle, 0690RGG. What about the racist Suarez diving all over the place and acting dead? How about a red card for it? Agreed, absolutely agreed, mate. We were talking about feigning injury, weren't we, in football and rugby, and in football it's prevalent. It's a disease, and Comfort Keswa, my producer, and I both bemoaning the fact that some Pirates players were caught on quite vividly on television doing the same old thing. And then Mumpara of the Day, at Daily Mumpara on Twitter, saying that Jack Wilshere is a Mumpara. Mumpara, as I understand it, is the South African word for, I don't know, what do we call it?
Idiot. Yeah, something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Mumpara of the Day, saying that Jack Wilshere wins that. I think Kevin Peterson would agree at this point. And Brandon, have we got you?
Yes, you've got
hi, Brandon. Brandon from topodds.com. Top Odds Compare is their Twitter handle. Brandon, I've got World Cup on the brain this week. I know South Africa aren't involved. I know that we've only got this friendly with Morocco. But Brandon, do you want to start with the African playoffs, the five cracking African playoffs, the first legs of which take place this weekend? Or do you want to start with the European stuff? Which would you prefer?
No, I think let's start closer to home. Let's start with the African stuff. South Africa missing out. I mean, when you have a look at the teams that are there, we might not have got through this round anyway. So maybe the heartbreak earlier rather than later. But some absolute matches this weekend. I mean, Nigeria. First of all, I'm just trying to open the page here. Sorry,
luckily I've got the page open. I've got Ethiopia, Nigeria. Ethiopia, the side that put South Africa out, largely thanks to a freakish own goal late in the game, and also various shenanigans with registered players and players playing when they shouldn't have. We got within one game of getting there, but now Ethiopia have got Nigeria. I think Victor Moses is fit to play. The Chelsea lad that's on loan with Liverpool at the moment. He's been actually ousted from the side by the return of Luis Suarez there. Ethiopia are saying it's going to be an uphill battle. A country that's come a long way in a short period of time, Ethiopian football. How are we looking on that one, Brandon? Ethiopia, Nigeria.
Nigeria away from home in this fixture. Alim Bookmaker with the best price, 21 to 20. You can get even money from World Sports Betting and Betting World. I don't think Ethiopia is an easy place to go. I'm not too sure, in terms of the stars that they have in that side. But I think as a team, they're not bad. Yeah, Nigeria, sure. Or the African Cup winners, they should win this fixture. They should cruise past Ethiopia. Or maybe I'm going to be wrong here. I'm not too sure. 9-4. And maybe Nigeria. Are these other two legs, Neil?
Yes, they're all two-legged playoffs to reach the... it's this awful... I often talk about the injustice of being in CAF, where you win your group and then you have a playoff. It just seems completely unfair to me. It really does, mate. I mean, there's nowhere else in the world it happens. If you win your group, you're through. Come second in your group, you might have a playoff. But certainly in Europe with the...
Most definitely. But do you think in this situation Nigeria would be looking for a draw? I mean, to go away,
yes,
maybe get an away goal, So the draw might not be a bad bet here. 9-4 with Allen Bookmaker, again the best price. World Sport Betting 22-10. Betting World 43-20. Yeah, maybe the draw in this game. Nigeria go there, be a little bit conservative. I don't know if they can be conservative, that Nigerian side, but yeah, maybe the draw in this fixture.
Absolutely, I can see that happening. I don't think Nigeria will have a problem ultimately getting through that particular one. Far more interest for me, although Ethiopia obviously the side we look at. Don't forget Nigeria did come here and win quite convincingly against Bafana in a friendly, not more than about, what was that, a month ago. Ghana, Egypt is the one that I'm interested in, mate. I love this.
Yeah, that's a massive game. I've just clicked on that. That's the one that catches your eye as a punter. I mean, Egypt, have they been to a World Cup? I'm not too sure, but geez, one of the better sides not to get there over the years. They've dominated African Cup of Nations. Or the year before, they didn't really feature much, but they generally have good footballing sides. And Ghana, like we know, geez, the African powerhouse. It's going to be a very, very close match. Ghana at home, I don't think I could bet against them. If you have a look at the betting, Egypt 26-10, a little bit of an outsider there. 23-20, Ghana. Those are Allen Bookmakers prices. World Sports Betting offering 11-10 Ghana. Ghana should win at home, although Egypt might just be a roughie.
Listen, Egypt were the very first African side to qualify for a World Cup finals back in 1934. They also did Italia in 1990, where they, if I remember right, they held England to a draw in a very tight group, the Republic of Ireland, England, and I can't remember the fourth side in that group. So Egypt do have something of a World Cup legacy. I think of all the African sides who have qualified for World Cup finals, 8 of the 9 are in these playoffs, and South Africa being the one that missed out. South Africa, the only side to have qualified. They qualified for the 98 World Cup finals in France. They're the only African side to have previously qualified for World Cup finals that didn't make it to these playoffs. Egypt. What's fascinating about Egypt is that they win. They've got the most wins in the African Champions League. They've got the most wins in AFCON. They've got 7 AFCON wins, African Nations Cup wins, and are considered to be a great side. But of course, with the trouble in Egypt, the Arab Spring followed by the Morsi problems, and also hooliganism at football, where 21 people were sentenced to death for trouble at Al Ahly a while ago, earlier this year. We've got a situation where in Egypt they aren't actually playing league football. A lot of their players have been leaked out to Italy and playing in the Serie B there, and so Egypt really shouldn't have a chance, given that their players can't play regularly, that they've only been playing in the Champions League. I think there's 11 Al Ahly players in the squad. Michael Bradley, the American, in charge of that Egypt squad. And Ghana with this great tradition, Michael Essien would be the oldest one that most of us remember starting this tradition, but it goes way back beyond then. Abidi Pele and both of his sons around that Ghana squad over the years. I'm going to go with Ghana on that one. I think that Ghana, because they play regular football and most of them play in Europe, should have too much for Egypt over 2 legs, I reckon.
Me too. I think Ghana's a good bet at home. You have to be with the home side in a 2-legged tie. I think they know they've got to score goals. And I think they'll win that comfortably. I don't think Egypt can rely on their past pedigree to get past that Ghana side, who enjoy the World Cup. I mean, bar Luis Suarez on the line in 2010. With a blatant hand of God there. Ghana just might have snuck through.
Please don't mention Suarez.
As well is the Cameroon Tunisia game. Sorry, quickly, just to say that. What has happened with this Cameroon with Cameroon football in general? I mean, go back 6 years and they were a dominant force. I mean, the Abominable Lions, I think they're called.
Sure.
They've just, I don't know if it's a quality of player coming through. They're playing Tunisia. Tunisia is a side that I like. I think Tunisia will win their home game. They're at 5-4 with Allen Bookmaker. World Sports Betting also offering 5-4. Betting World a bit shorter at 12-10. I think Tunisia will win this one.
Well, Tunisia only got there because the Cape Verde Islands played an unregistered player and were thrown out. They actually won the group. So they got in through the back door, Tunisia, but as we saw with Esperance playing Orlando Pirates last week, and Ruud Krol, the old Orlando Pirates coaching at CS Vaxian, who won the league last year, they've got a good tradition of football as well. They've also been through an Arab Spring. It's all very complicated. But I'm looking at a situation where I can't choose between these two. Cameroon have messed up badly. Issa Hayato's country, he's the head of African football and will be forever. until he finally goes, and then probably his son will take over. I don't like the bloke. I would like to see Tunisia win this one. I'd like to see Tunisia show Cameroon that they can't run football the way that they do. Samuel Eto'o is joining the squad as I speak, having retired 512 times from playing international football. He's now at Chelsea, as you know, on loan from Angie Michelakalaka, and the best paid player in the world, overtaken by Ronaldo, will play for Cameroon, which must make a difference. I mean, when he came back during qualifying on and off, when he felt like it, they had a much better side. They hung it together better. But even with Samuel Eto'o, I'd like to see Tunisia get through that one.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we mustn't discount Cape Verde. A very, very good manager.
Yeah, but hold on, Cape Verde were thrown out, because so it's Tunisia and Cameroon. So Cape Verde are
I know. So
yeah.
I understand. So what I'm saying to you is that group was a tough group for Tunisia. I'm sure they ran second. They must have to get through. So I mean, they weren't beaten by. I think Cape Verde could have gone up against any of these sides in this playoff and beaten them convincingly on what I saw.
Yeah.
So I think Tunisia have come out of a strong group in terms of Cape Verde beating them, and I don't think there'll be a pushover. But like you say, Samuel Eto'o coming back to Cameroon. Well, whatever you say about him, I mean, he's got that quality up front that any side would want. And maybe he can put an away goal in the net, but I think Tunisia will win this one.
Yeah.
And I would take the double, maybe Ghana and Tunisia in these fixtures. I know I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, okay. Ghana, Tunisia, your double.
Time right twice a day.
Let me try and remember that one. Ghana, Tunisia, Ivory Coast, obviously with a host of top class stars against Senegal. Senegal were the heroes of the was it the 2002 World Cup, wasn't it, where Senegal kind of came up with all these players that went to England afterwards, and I think that in that 92, the first game of the 92 World Cup, Senegal, with all their players based in France, beat France, the champions, who had all their players based outside France. I always remember that. Senegal, not quite the force they were then, but Ivory Coast certainly are with the Touré brothers. Yaya certainly on top form for Manchester City at the moment, and they just got, and Didier Drogba, in some ways a veteran, but in other ways still at the top of his game, even though he's playing at Fenerbahce. I know that people are interested in getting him back to England soon in January. So Ivory Coast, Senegal, also top quality game. The one game that I thought South Africa might have got through, obviously if they'd been drawn against Nigeria I wouldn't have rated their chances, but Burkina Faso versus Algeria is a game between two sides that South Africa have both beaten, and are both capable of beating, I think. Burkina Faso certainly are beatable, but Algeria, one of the top five in Africa, got to go through that one. So just to summarise, Brandon, I think Algeria, Nigeria, Ghana to beat Egypt, Ivory Coast to beat Senegal, and I'm going for, and to me the tightest one of all, Tunisia versus Cameroon, and I'm going to go for Tunisia, historical reasons.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I mean, Algeria in this game, I mean, there's a bit of value. Alain Bookmaker and World Sports Betting offering 2-1 Algeria to beat Burkina Faso. I'm not sure, if backing an away side, this is where I'll be putting my money this weekend. But geez, they are value in that sense, and I'll take the 2-1 if you're looking for a little bit of value, Algeria.
Yeah, cool. All right, mate. Look, can we have a little look at Europe? There's some fascinating games there as well. Particularly for England, everyone's on the edge of their seats in England. We can't fail to qualify for another World Cup. It would put English football back a few years. What do you think? Are England going to make it? How's your odds on that?
On England to make it?
Yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to get the BBC stuff up now.
I'm just waiting for this page to open. It's a little bit slow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Maybe because of the hundreds of thousands of users that we have on Top Odds, having a look at the markets while we speak. Slowing us down a little bit. But Europe, I don't think there'll be any shocks. From a punter's point of view, it's difficult to get on the big European sides in these games when they play Moldova and San Marino, and I mean, the bookies are pricing up odds at 1-50 and 1-35, and so you really have to look for value in the close games. And which games are close anymore in Europe? I'm not too sure. You have the Croatia Belgium.
Yeah, I like that
on Saturday. That's I would say that's a close game. However, Croatia not performing as they should, and Belgium, but it's to be contenders in the next World Cup, although I know you don't think so.
Oh no! Listen, I do think it's just that European sides never win in Latin America. But listen, it's all Friday night, by the way. All these games are Friday night. Croatia Belgium will be on at 6 o'clock South African time. That's a cracking game. Wales Macedonia doesn't matter anymore. Wales with Gareth Bale not playing in that game, the most expensive man in the world. But Aaron Ramsey, the best player in the world, is playing for Wales that day. But if I can just move us to the England game, have you got the England odds? I'm just going to go through the BBC side. I'm not actually going through your side, just because England Montenegro, 10, 20 years ago. Well, it wasn't even a country 20 years ago. We've got a situation where England have to win at 9 o'clock. Then you'll find this on DSTV 203 on Saturday night at 9 o'clock at Wembley. England play Montenegro, and if they win that one, they then have to beat Poland. They could get away with a draw in the last game, but they're both their last two games. Poland on the 15th of October, which is next Tuesday, is it? And then obviously Macedonia have to go down, and yet there's a lot of people doubting Roy Hodgson, a lot of people doubting England's ability, and then this whole debate with Jack Wilshere saying that only Englishmen should play for England, and then the stats on the BBC this morning saying only a third of the league actually qualified to play for England. It would be like having a Curry Cup rugby in this country where only a third of the players were actually qualified to play for the Springboks. All the rest were Argentinians, Zimbabweans and Cape Verdeans. It would be very, very difficult. I think this is a key point for English football. I think if they don't get through against Montenegro and then Poland and don't go to the World Cup, I think people have to sit up and take some notice of what's happened to English international football and to the Premier League.
Most definitely. I mean, I saw an article this morning, Wayne Rooney coming out and saying that it's the best English force that they've had in 10 years. I don't know if that's a statement. I don't know how to read into that. But
I can read into
it.
Look
at the odds in this game.
I can read into it for you. Ricky Lambert is one of those kind of journeyman professionals that they had to turn to get goals against bloody Scotland, and the others are just, mate. It's an unbelievable statement for Wayne Rooney to make. When you think that in his time we've also had people like Michael Owen up front and Alan Shearer just before that. I think that it's certainly not the best England strike force in my time. And I think Wayne Rooney is just glossing over the huge cracks. England go into this game 1 point clear of the Ukraine and Montenegro, and then Poland on 13 could still make it with 2 games to go. There's 4 sides in the running, and I'm fascinated by that one.
Well, if you want to have a look at the betting, I mean, the bookies are writing up England the strong favourites in this game. Betting World with the best price at 7-20. That's 3.5 to 10. Alan Bookmaker and World Sports Betting at 3 to 10. The draw, they pushed out to 72 to 20, Alan Bookmaker, 39 to 10, World Sports Betting, and even further out by Betting World at 79 to 20. And Montenegro in at a staggering 9 to 1. So, if you follow the money here, they're saying England will ride up a victory. Is this game at Wembley? It must be.
It's at Wembley, yeah, 9 o'clock Saturday night at Wembley, South African time.
Well, I think that they have every game at Wembley. They've got to pay them, so I don't think. It was a stupid question by me to see if it would be played there.
Yeah.
But I do think England will win. I think they have to win. Montenegro, are there any stars in that side?
No, there's not. I mean, there's guys that play around Europe, but none of them are what we would call top class players. Like you had a whole bunch of Croatians at the top level, didn't you? For a while, you got a few Poles. You got Lemanowski playing for Poland. That would be more interesting, I think, the Poland game to finish if England don't beat Montenegro. Having to beat Poland in that last game would be, and Poland twice in my lifetime have put England out of the World Cup way back in the 70s, and 94 was it? And so there's an awful situation brewing there, and an awful lot of trepidation in the build-up to this game.
Well, if we have a look at the Ukraine-Poland game, I mean, the best result there for England is a draw, and then England winning their game, obviously. But Ukraine are priced up at 8 to 10. All 3 bookmakers, that's Alan Bookmaker, World Sports Betting, and Betting World, offering the same price for the Ukraine to win at home. I don't know how good this Polish side are. Do you reckon they could go there and cause an upset?
Yeah, Poland can always cause upsets, mate. It's historical, and they love to beat England. And there's no question that they've got a squad of 15 players that play at the top level in Europe. And like I say, Lemanowski, the Borussia Dortmund striker, is the kind of guy that could destroy an English defence if they revolve around the kind of journeyman professionals that they use.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think Poland need to get past this game. How many points behind are Poland at the moment from England and Ukraine?
They're 2 points behind. So if Poland
2
win,
points. So this is a massive.
if Poland
this
win
is a
and England
massive
draw,
game for Poland. If Poland,
exactly.
Yeah, if Poland rock up here or rock up at the Ukraine and don't win, they can kind of kiss their hopes goodbye, because then they need to come to Wembley and beat England. So I think that Poland at 38-10. Betting World offering that. World Sports Betting also offering 38-10. Alan Bookmaker a bit shorter, 15-4. There might be a good value bet just under 4-1, because they know they have to win again. So do Ukraine, and maybe the draw in this game, a high-scoring draw, might be the way to go. And for all the England fans, hope that happens, and then you might just have to draw your last game against Poland to go through.
That's right, don't forget second place will go to a playoff. But at the moment, England 16 points, Ukraine 15, Montenegro 15, Poland 13, so actually 2 points behind, 3 points behind England. So they really need to win this to have a good chance at Wembley. A draw would then get them through, I think. Well, it all depends, doesn't it? Blimey. It's tight and it's nasty, and I don't like it at all. It upsets me just looking at it. Denmark-Italy is another game we can look at. Germany, the Republic of Ireland. Germany already through. Be interested to see what they throw out against the Republic of Ireland. That'll be another one on our television screens at 9 o'clock. 9:15.
Are Italy through?
Yeah, Italy are done. Italy were the first ones, one of the first ones through in Europe. They're away to Denmark, but I think Denmark might have to.
So from a punter's point of view, the best thing that a punter can hope for is for Italy to be through already.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're gonna pitch up for that game against Denmark. Denmark are a very, very good price betting world, offering 14-10. I don't know if Denmark can still make second place or if they're in second position already.
Yeah, they're in contention for second with Bulgaria. Yeah.
And that's why I think Denmark will be a very, very good bet. They are at home. I think that Italy might just rock up there and pass the ball around, and I don't know if they'll start their major stars in that game, knowing they're through already. But I think Denmark's a good bet. I think Denmark will win at 14-10. Betting World giving the best price there. And then, like you said, the Republic of Ireland game, Germany through, but that German side, I mean, they like to beat people for fun, and I don't think they'll take their foot off. Their second side's just as good as their first side, and the betting reflects that. 1-6, all three bookmakers offering that on a side that's already through. I think if Italy were at home against Denmark, you might still get 2-1 if they were through already, because you just don't know what's going to happen with that Italian side. No,
absolutely right, man. We've got qualifiers in Latin America. We've got all kinds of things going on World Cup wise around the world, and I don't think we've even got odds for South Africa Morocco, have we? I can't seem to find them here, but South Africa never lost to Morocco. They also play tomorrow night, so in Agadir, and having never lost to Morocco, it would be nice if we could continue that tomorrow, just to end it with Bafana. Bafana, sorry, did I say Bafana? Bafana. Sorry.
They just need to leave Gordon Egerson alone. I mean, they've appointed Danny Jordaan now. I think he's head of SAFA. And I heard him speaking on the television, setting up youth systems and something to the effect that Germany play 40,000 youth games on a weekend, and we're lucky to play 1,000 youth games on a weekend. So I think if they get that right and they leave Gordon Egerson there, South Africa, they'll get back to where they're supposed to be in the world, and that's definitely contending for number one on the continent at least. And I think to get that way, you need to beat sides like Morocco at home, especially. And let's hope they can do that. I'm not sure if the Pirates players will be involved.
Well, they've gone up to Agadir, and they took Kermit Erasmus with them, but the rest of the Pirates player, and particularly at the moment, I would say the lad Opal Manyisa, he didn't go. So it's kind of a development squad that he's now using, and Gordon's actually been quoted saying it's not the end of the world if we lose to Morocco, and I suppose he's right. It'd just be nice to get a little string of friendly results together and to win a couple. I know Danny supports Gordon. I know that I've had lunch with Danny a couple of times, and Danny's shown me the money he's got to spend, the 450 million rand that he's only going to spend on development. But you do wonder sometimes if we could pay a little bit more to our players for playing for Bafana, because it's so hard to get these top players to come from Europe at a time when you're getting 4,000 or 5,000 rand a day playing for Bafana, and it just doesn't compare with your club wages. And the players are quite within their rights, I think, to do what Stephen Pienaar did at the moment with no World Cup pending. You could easily see a situation where South Africa, are going to lose all their young European players, worried about coming to play for Bafana and losing their fitness or getting out of the side. Dean Furman battled to get back even into the Doncaster side when he came to play the game against Nigeria, wasn't it, Comfort? He then goes home and finds he's not in the side. And what's it been? It's been a long journey, not much money involved. I know it's nice to represent your country, but I wonder if Danny shouldn't play players more from Europe to play for South Africa. It's a debate that's often held.
Yeah,
all right, mate.
Most definitely. I mean, you look at it, it happens with the Springboks as well. I mean, the Currie Cup club sides, guys going overseas just because, you play rugby for a living and you go where the money is. So, yeah, it's a big problem we need to address in this country.
I think Heineke's going to find it, just like Gordon, if all these players go to France next season like they're promising to, he's going to have to start tempting players to come and play for the Springboks, particularly in not in the World Cup, but in the kind of friendly games in the November tour of Europe. He's going to have to make sure he provides a financial incentive to those players as well as the pride of the jersey. It happens in cricket with the IPL, trying to tempt players not to go to the IPL sometimes. It's difficult. International sport should be about the heart and the flag and patriotism, but often it's going to come down to money. That's how sportsmen have to be.
Most definitely.
All right, Brandon, great to chat to you, mate. We'll see. We'll see who gets through in Africa. I hope that the sides that do get through do Africa proud in Brazil next year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, most definitely. I think you'd want all the big sides to go through, the Ivory Coast, the Ghanas, because I think they'll have the best chance of representing us there. And those conditions might just suit African sides more than the European sides, so we might get another good cup run from a Ghana or an Ivory Coast. So,
I'm looking forward to Qatar in 2022. That'll really suit our players. Nice and hot there, 54 degrees.
If I was England, I'd be looking to throw that qualification right now because you guys are going to have unbelievable sunburn and you're going to need a lot of sunscreen to cover up those blemishes.
It's ridiculous to play the World Cup there in the summer. All right, mate. Great stuff, Brandon. Good to talk to you as always. That's Top Odds. Brandon from tokodds.com, our backers on Bollockz.
This is Bulls Visual Radio.